Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Donald Trump's blunder. I think he's always unaware of the legal nuances, to say the least. Last night in the State of the Union, where he made it clear something that I think is pretty clear to everyone anyway, namely that who's in charge of Doge? Elon Musk is in charge of Doge. So here's what he actually said: to further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but the ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps, ha ha ha, which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. All right, why does this matter? The Generally speaking, the administration has been trying to do a two-step with the courts, and of course, the courts judges watch TV or read newspapers, same as the rest of us. But what they've basically said in the public eye is Elon Musk is doing all this great stuff, deserves all this credit, but before courts have tried to minimize his role and make him sound like kind of an advisor, a little bit of an uncle, maybe, who has Trump's ear. And it matters because under the Constitution, when you have a lot of authority, the Constitution says you have to be nominated by the president and confirmed by the Congress. That's if you are a so-called principal officer. What's a principal officer? Well, it's a bit of a functional test, but the main thing is you report to the president and not to other people. And it sure seems the way Doge has been set up that that's exactly what's going on. People funnel their cuts and the like into him. They tell him about their employees, and then he makes his decisions. And exactly as Trump said, and the State of the Union, it's headed by Elon Musk. So there's a lawsuit pending, and the lawsuit says because he's got all this power, he needs to be appointed, nominated by the president, and confirmed by the Senate. That would be a big deal that would likely invalidate everything that he has done to date. It'd be a very interesting, tough remedial problem, but basically, he's somebody who shouldn't have been there in the first place without the political check that nomination by the president and confirmation by the Senate provides. So, as soon as they heard this, the lawyers for the plaintiffs in the case against Musk went running into court and filed a so-called statement of new evidence, notice of new evidence, which is provided for under the rules. And they basically quote Trump, and that's all. And they ask the judge to take account of that in the decision. Now, all they're looking for at this point is discovery. All they're looking for, they want especially to depose Elon Musk and see him kind of squirm in the chair as he tries to answer the questions. What do you do? What's your role? Who can overrule you? Remember that in court, the administration proffered a woman whose name nobody had ever heard of. She's the real head supervisor for Doge. Okay, what does that mean? She tells him what to do. How often does he meet with her? What do they go over, etc., etc., etc. So they want that discovery. They want a deposition with Musk himself, and that's what's in front of the court right now. And they've said, we want some expedited discovery. That's something that the court has invited them to request. So we want some expedited discovery, not that much. We're not going to go into full-on pre-trial litigation here, but we want some expedited discovery. And one thing we want is the deposition of Elon Musk. And to prove our need for it, and to prove in general our greater need for expedited discovery, here's our notice of new evidence. Here is the President of the United States at the equivalent of the State of the Union, announcing to the whole country and having him stand up and take a bow that the president has created Doge, and it's headed by Elon Musk. Because that was an immediate shot in the arm to people who are saying Musk's role is such that he needs the political check that is provided by nomination by the president and confirmation by the Senate. How will this work in practice? So I think they'll hold a hearing, and it could really well be that the district court will say, yeah, that's right, I agree. Now, at that point, they'll probably try to appeal, maybe even before that, based on the different remedial orders sort of midway through. So it's a while till the whole issue is going to work out, possibly at the U.S. Supreme Court level. But at that point, if Musk is found to have been a principal officer and the kind of person who under the Constitution needs to be nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate, it's going to put everything, at a minimum, it's going to put everything they've done in jeopardy. Of course, what have they done? It's not even clear, right? They've been so squirrely, so opaque. There's some reason to think that they've saved, $1.50, really not very much at all. And they've done things that are inappropriate. If you look at the whole panoply of where they've cut costs, you can actually see it's disproportionately against agencies and entities that are perceived to be liberal, and that Musk's assertion that it's all kind of neutral and just in the service of cost cutting probably doesn't hold up. That would be one of the many things that could be discerned in a deposition, and maybe only in a deposition. It's going to be a pretty important fight, just that alone. So we have the plaintiffs who've already asked for some minimal expedited discovery. It includes Musk, and that might be something that a court would resist, although the reason for resisting it would tend to just show his importance as an officer of the United States. Anyway, that's what we're going to see, and we have the plaintiffs rushing into court to file this notice of new evidence when the court is due kind of any moment to set its order on the plaintiff's request for expedited discovery. So we'll see where that goes, and we'll see in particular whether or not the court tells Elon Musk, you've got to sit for a deposition, raise your hand, and answer questions about what you're doing here under penalty of perjury. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.